Hello and welcome to the SMB Cloud Series presented by IBM. I am Kavya R. Chavali and I will be your moderator for today's event. Now, as we all know that small and medium businesses are facing several challenges during these unique and difficult times. They not only have to maintain the business continuity, but they also have to increase employee productivity and drive business innovation. Now, today's event will focus on the technology landscape for the SMBs, how you can sustain and grow in these uncertain times, and how our partners have used technology for innovation as well as growth. What we're going to do is start the event with a keynote panel session. The session will be on impact, opportunities, and the growth agendas of the SMBs in India. We have with us August speakers joining in. We have Mr. Hanuman Tripathi, who's the chairman of the NASSCOM SME Council, Mr. Sandeep Patel, who's the managing director, IBM India and South Asia, and Mr. Ajay Mittal, chief digital officer, IBM India and South Asia. Now, after this panel discussion, we will then be moving on to three lightning talk sessions with our speakers from Happiest Minds, Light Metrics, and Solicon. Now, these will be in the form of short 15-minute presentations that will focus on how these innovative companies are using cloud technology to drive customer satisfaction. But before we get started, some very quick points for all of you to take note. First up is that the Q&A. The Q&A will be open during the event, so please do use the chat box to post your questions. While our subject matter experts, they are on standby, they will answer your queries. We'll also be running some very interesting polls during the event, so please do participate. We'll also be sharing various thought leadership assets, blogs, as well as demos during the event. So please access them and also download these assets from the side panel. So yes, we'll have a very fruitful and a very interesting day ahead of us. So with that, let's get started with our keynote panel on small and medium business in the new era. Thank you very much, Mr. Tripathi, Mr. Patel, and Mr. Mittal for joining us on this panel. My first question would be to Mr. Tripathi. As we all know that the world has changed and the impact is across board. So for small and medium business, the challenges might actually be different from the other organizations. Now, if you could please share, sir, how do you see the market performing? How do you see it? How do you perceive it?
Yeah, so very good afternoon. Thank you, IBM, for this opportunity. So happy to be here on behalf of NASSCOM. See, there is an impact to everyone, and the larger the company, larger the impact. But the problem with smaller companies is cash flows in the first place, because what has happened is that over a period of last, let's say 20, 25 years of this industry in India, SMEs have not got much funding from the banks, and therefore they are not very leveraged. And most SMEs are promoter run. They're very enterprising founders, highly exceptionally brilliant founders. They have built their organizations from internal corpus or sometimes minor private equity and so on and so forth, or early venture capital. But the point is that today they are not covered up for more than 3, 4, 5 months of cash. So once their business has got hit, because their customer is shut down in overseas market, right? The 70-80% business comes from outside and the customers are shut. If the customers are shut, their businesses are hurt, cash flows are very badly hurt, and that is what is causing the issue. This is number one. Number two, they have to maintain now dual infrastructure, because these lockdowns can be reality of life. And they can't really simply say that, okay, today we took out the machines and taken it to homes, and now we can take out the same machines and bring it to offices. Because what happens if tomorrow there's another lockdown which happens? So they have to bear double the cost of infrastructure. And the preparation which is required for restarting offices is humongous. It's very, very large. This is going to consume tremendous amount of time and energy, and invariably SMEs don't have a very strong admin team or a very large HR team. So transportation, catering, having to ensure that there are no medical emergencies, and all of that is a big issue. And if you see generically in SMEs, and I'm not talking of just IT SMEs, the entire supply chain has got affected. So whosoever is dependent on raw material and people is definitely affected. And there's one new thing which I have heard in last 2 days. is that now parents are not willing to send their youngsters to work back in offices. So while you can tell a vice president, the senior management team to come in and say you are like a partner in the company, but what do you do with the young programmers and mid managers and so on and so forth? So that's my take.
I must admit, Mr. Tripathi, I think from your lens, the perspective is extremely practical. And, the way you've taken us through the actual challenges in the market for that matter, the way the small and medium businesses are looking at, also the way how we can probably, look at probably mitigating these effects of the current situation. So I think that'll lead the way to our next question, which is for Mr. Patel. So as we know that you're the business leader for IBM, how have you seen the landscape for India change for small and medium businesses? And what exactly are you expecting for the remainder months of 2020?
So look, the SMB landscape, the small and medium business landscape over the last few months has undergone a dramatic change. But before I talk about that, let me put it in the context and just shed some light on where we were in the pre-COVID era, right? So pre-crisis, as per the official estimates, there are over about 6 crores of micro industries, over 3 lakh small, and about 5,000 medium enterprises in the country. Now, we were witnessing pre-COVID double-digit growth in this segment owing to an increased interest in technology adoption. And, we as IBM, we were serving small and mid businesses regardless of their size or revenue. Now, that was the scenario till about a quarter ago. As we look at the current scenario, there is no doubt that the entire small and mid market segment across the board has taken a huge hit due to COVID, and through many of the reasons that Mr. Tripathi was talking about. And this has posed multiple challenges for this entire sector. The most critical being the need to revisit their business plans to manage both organizational cycles and also remain financially afloat. And this is what is resulting in them making capital management as the biggest priority. At the same time, the uncertainty that's triggered by COVID is also making them relook at their own IT setup and ensure that they are fixing the gaps which would hamper their ability to operate remotely. If we just think more generally, across the entire market, right? Technology has started to become a pretty much of a lifeline that is actually helping us conduct business, period, right? And this is requiring, every organization in the market to become a part of this digital transformation that all of us are going through. Now, the good news is that this segment is usually a lot more agile in terms of their decision making. And therefore, we are already seeing a lot of new models of engagement with this segment. There's also a renewed awareness of the importance of a robust IT framework, which enables them to stay better connected with customers, employees, business partners, and therefore a lot of these digital enabled transformational discussions as well as strengthening the infrastructure, that we are expecting to see accelerating. So we are expecting our clients actually to start planning and executing their own digital journeys at a much more significantly faster pace. And again, for different parts of their business, different parts of their supply chain. In many respects, technology is now becoming the new small and mid market business backbone. And it's not just merely a good to have, right? But it's a must have imperative for the survival and future success of this entire segment.
I think, Mr. Patel, that was wonderfully said, because in your words, when you say how technology is unifying us and how digital transformation has become inevitable in today's times, I'm sure our audience will also agree with the fact that stability first and growth in the upcoming months will be the target for most. So on that note, what we're going to do is again come back to Mr. Tripathi, because we're going to have the next question for you, sir, where we talk about all this discussion now, while we take it forward. Given NASSCOM's focus on supporting India's startup as well as SMB ecosystem, what are some of the innovation or innovative technical solutions in the market, and how do you think they are accelerating the pace of transformation for the industry as well as the country.
Okay, allow me to give you a small data here with regards to NASSCOM participation in the first place, that we have about 14,500 IT SME companies in India, out of which 2,200 are NASSCOM members. So NASSCOM has about 3,000 membership. Out of that, 2,200 are SME members, which are under 200 crores in size. So I want to say first of all that we engage with the companies at three very critical levels. Where one, we get them future ready through programs, help in their business promotion through various kind of three-tier activities, and create continuous engagement from a perspective of meeting, chatting, and having to engage with new knowledge, which is more of mentoring. Now we have created what is called as an SME Advantage program, which is very unique during this tenure of mine, and also a trapped capital portal, the SME Advantage program, where we are taking the power of syndication, which is by the scale of SME companies coming together and then working with one very large solution provider like IBM for cloud and somebody else for systems and so on and so forth. And the second thing which we are doing now is that we are asking all the SME companies to come together on a portal to say what is your trapped capital with the government, and if you can inform how is it stuck in, let's say, tender deposits or in the last mile payments in the projects, we can then represent with the MSME ministry, IT ministry, and commerce ministry to see that these monies are released very quickly. So these are two very important things which I wanted to speak through your medium here, but and very immediate aspects. But answering to what you have asked for, according to me, there is a whole lot of change which is happening in healthcare field itself, and NASSCOM has created a specialized team at the EC level, which is working on COVID prevention and COVID eradication, COVID support, COVID identification, and so on and so forth. And there are host of solutions being built in that space, which is a very critical space itself. So there are about 10 or 12 areas there. That is one answer I wanted to let you see here. And also that Sandeep spoke about something very important, which is on the digital transformation part. So my take there is that digital transformation was happening for last 4 years. COVID has ensured that it has really accelerated. And that acceleration which has happened, if you see in BPOs and KPOs in the first place, the advent of use of NLP or RPA or AI tools in BPOs and KPOs is going to be a very, very quick adoption in coming times. Then if you realize how let's say digital marketing works in the first place, that's going to change considerably, because adoption of digital marketing was at a very retail level, and you will suddenly see that there's a huge adoption which is happening here. Now, on the fintech side, contactless systems, or on the transportation and logistics side, having to have mobile-based applications, tracking systems, all fleet tracking, IoT-based solutions, mobility and cloud-hosted solutions for all the industries, whether they are in healthcare or mobility, they are going to be very, very critical. On especially related to this particular event, and going back to what I was telling earlier, that cloud adoption among the mid-size SME companies, non-IT companies I am talking about, is going to be most severe and very fast transformation which is going to happen. So it's a fantastic opportunity for cloud adoption, because now people have realized, and I'll give you one small example. Today, if you have to get your books audited and you call your auditor, they say their systems are closed because they have no access to their data. If they were on cloud today, they would have not had this problem. And all the logistics issues which are happening among mid-sized companies is because they are not on cloud. Their data cannot be shared. And therefore, cloud is a very, very strong imperative which is going to happen in coming times with MSME companies. And therefore, it gives a tremendous opportunity for IT companies for enablement and organizations like IBM to occupy that space. So as I said, healthcare, fintech, logistics, gaming, and of course, a whole lot. I believe that IT always transforms the next level of business change. So we're going to be there everywhere. Thank you.
That's wonderful indeed, Mr. Tripathi, because one, we managed to get some amazing set of examples as well as the kind of initiatives around the innovations for SMBs, that is there. Most importantly, the way you've accentuated the need to adopt the whole cloud for that matter, for the businesses to make their mark in this era. I think that was again very, very insightful indeed. But this also becomes a follow-up question for Mr. Mittal. So we're going to be talking about the role of technology in terms of helping these small and medium businesses sustain and even grow, perhaps even in these uncertain times. Now, SMBs today compete with large enterprises across many areas. So how do you think technologies like cloud and AI can give them that kind of edge to emerge as a winner in these times?
So, what Mr. Tripathi just said, I think answered a number of questions as to how SMBs will use their technology moving forward. If to kind of, split it in two parts, right? One is the immediate requirement of IT from a perspective of ensuring that, there is continuity of businesses, right? Which is where, to have a robust infrastructure becomes extremely critical, right? Now, just picking up from some of the examples, right? Working from home, right? Or remote working, how do you access your data, right? How do you ensure that each of your employee have access to their machines so that they can start connecting? How do you ensure your systems are available? How do you ensure that if your main data center is down, you still have access to your systems, right? All of these discussions will drive conversations around the changes that companies will need to start making in terms of their own IT infrastructure. This is where I expect cloud to play a very, very significant role. Just to give you an example today, earlier people used to set up their DR solutions, as again, data center owner hosted. Now we see a pattern where most of the DR solutions are going to be set up on cloud, right? Which basically ensures 100% availability. We are looking at virtual desktop solutions being made available on cloud to the companies so that their employees can be in any part of the world, sitting at home or in office, but accessing the same data, right? So that's one very clear use case that we expect, or set of use cases that will start coming in. I think related to this will be the conversations around security, because as you're trying to work from home or remotely, which is an uncontrolled environment, you have not planned your IT setup to operate outside of a controlled environment. Now you're in an uncontrolled environment, so you got to revisit your security infrastructure and adopt new security practices and solutions to be able to cater to the new world, right? Third very important aspect that I see is, I would say, transition from traditional services towards a completely new approach to how you serve your customers or your employees, right? Traditionally, let's say I needed some support on my machine. I just wanted to set passwords, configure printers, do stuff. A lot of companies still operated on desk side support model, right? Now there's no desk side support. You got to enable your teams to be able to I would say self-repair as well as self-manage the systems. And you can't do that unless you invest significantly in automation and start using tools that allow employees to do that, right? So these are very, very real use cases that we are seeing where technology will play a direct role in terms of how companies operate from here on, right? Of course, the other aspect is business transformation, right? Which we are talking about how IT will be used as a differentiator for the companies, right? How do they connect with their employees? How do they connect with their partners? How do they connect with their whole ecosystem that they need to operate with? How do they connect with their customers? It's a question of not just differentiator. I think it's a necessity that companies will have to start investing in, right? And AI plays a very, very significant role there, right? We know that data is a critical factor when you're looking at connecting with your ecosystem and your customers, right? So multiple use cases that we can think of where client discussions have already started, right? And as Sandeep said earlier, in SMB, this agility is there is real agility, right? So companies are not waiting to start these discussions. They've already started those discussions, and we expect that over the next few months, these discussions will be accelerated.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mittal. In fact, the way you've shared the perspectives around how IT for that matter, is not just a differentiator, but a necessity, and not just to keep the systems connected, but the people connected as well. And I think in today's times, we are learning that faster, thanks to the fact that when you're focusing on stability and agility. So another very interesting insight coming there. We'll now quickly move on to our next question, and this would be for Mr. Tripathi. So when we're talking about industries, again, I think this is one common question that's there on everybody's minds. When we're talking about industries and the impact of the new digital era. So what industries or businesses do you see impacted the most in this space? And what should be the key focuses for the businesses now?
As I said earlier, I think I chewed up some of the answer from here earlier, because what I was trying to say is that there are industries like airline and hospitality which are going to suffer because of fear factors and real medical issues, and we'll have to figure out technology and non-technology, means technology and ops both as combo, to see that how to make that travel safe and the usage safe. Healthcare is undergoing major change, and it's going to probably grow in a big way. And also related to health insurance related to healthcare will see tremendous amount of digital adoption and changes. BPO and BPM is going to change in a big way because of adoption of new technology, especially AI and NLP and RPA, which is what we spoke. If you see, logistics is going to change in a significant way, because logistics will be required even by that sixth crore, the smallest MSME organization sitting in a village will also require a logistics based solution which is on cloud, which is on mobile, for them to work contactless and deliver their solutions. Today what you are seeing in big cities is that farmers are coming in and giving their mango offerings directly, and organic food offering. All of this will have to become contactless, so the entire logistics solution will have to undergo changes in a big way, and there you will see a lot of IoT coming in, and AI coming in, and mobile applications coming in. And of course, all this will require to be hosted on a cloud. Nothing is going to be hosted in a premises anymore, because nobody is going to trust that you have a locked premises in which there is data and somebody has to go and open and use that data. That's not going to work. Everything will have to be on cloud. There's going to be DR in multiple places. People will keep files copied in separate locations, and so on and so forth. So and of course, cyber security in a big way, very big way, because work from home today is actually working in a little fragile manner, even for very large organizations. And if this has to become reality for 30-40% people, or some organizations say 75% people, to be working on work from home permanently, uh, I feel that cyber security will undergo major kind of a business opportunity, because we'll have to strengthen the home network systems in a, or home machines accessing organization database, and so on and so forth. So how BOID worked in previous times, we have to work from home in a more secure manner. So these are some of the examples. I don't want to stretch it because I think we can go on and on this subject. But yeah, and of course, fintech, my favorite subject. Fintech is undergoing tremendous change, and there the MSME of fintech, which is cooperative sector in India or NBFCs in India, worldwide, the smaller bank segment is going to go tremendous digital enablement. There was very less digital enablement and lot of talk in last 5 years in this segment. You would not get many good mobile applications to just transfer payments and so on and so forth. You will really realize, you will now find that making life contactless for customer onboarding, for lending, for KYC, for application signatures and identification and all of that will undergo completely contactless. So there's going to be tremendous digital transformation on the fintech side as well. So I'll have to stop.
Absolutely. In fact, Mr. Tripathi, as you mentioned, while you were talking about the impact on the key industry, you're actually opening up a Pandora's box of understanding how certain industries are, will be definitely affected, but how certain industries will come into the big picture and how technology and cloud is the new norm, is in fact the norm right now. So, following up on this, I'm going to quickly ask Mr. Patel. So, what kind of business changes do you foresee digitally for sectors, sectors that we're talking about, like retail services, manufacturing, or for that matter, automotive, OEMs, etc. Do you see that the recent challenges accelerating digital transformation and automation within the SMB space? Do you really see that these challenges are accelerating all this transformation?
I mean, I think independent of whatever industry you talk about, I think Mr. Tripathi said it really well that we've been talking about a lot of digital disruption and digital transformation. I think what this whole pandemic scenario has required us to do is to move through that disruption and transformation with a significant amount of acceleration. So I think acceleration now is a given. I think one of the things I like to think about is there used to be a term that we used to use that change is always endemic if not strategic. That change has become a lot faster, and therefore sort of how we reinvent ourselves, that has become quite fundamental, right? And this is where I think in many respects what we are seeing is that this pandemic and this rate of digital disruption, that has now become almost the it's created a necessity for organizations to be a lot more agile, to be a lot more responsive, a lot more differentiated, and that has now become the mother of invention in some respects. So look, post COVID, there will be both sort of immediate term, short term, and long term challenges. So in the immediate term, I think Mr. Tripathi said it well. So many of these organizations that don't have the basics around logistics, basics in terms of contacting customers, taking payments, and doing that digitally, right? It's all going to be about achieving competitive parity to just stay in business and do business, right? So that is going to be sort of immediately. Then as we think about short term, I think there are clearly questions in terms of how should they be reopening the businesses? What is the correct method of staffing factories, stores, etc.? And more importantly, I think very close next is how do you ensure the safety and security of your workforce? And this is where I think it is incumbent, I think, on the technology industry. We are taking this very seriously, is how do we create solution approaches that are actually helping with some of these emerging concerns and business requirements. So some of these are touchless retail, touchless logistics, creating supply chain agility using technologies like blockchain, IoT, etc. Data security, huge. And all of this being enabled by cloud, which enables you the agility to do this quickly and at a in a variable cost approach, as well as enterprise grade security, which is really important. So another area of focus, obviously, that the manufacturing industry has is workplace and worker security. So these are all elements which are going to become very, very important. And in the whole workplace security area, we are looking at creating solutions around detection of temperature elevations. And these are solutions that are available today through technologies like IoT, like blockchain and others, contactless screening of large numbers of workers, monitoring, workplace crowding. So these are all solutions that are going to become more and more relevant. Now, our cloud COVID-related offerings, we've already launched those, such as, there's a 90-day free access to a certain portfolio of our software as a service catalog, which is enabling the MSMEs overcome many of these short-term challenges, and also enabling them to manage sort of cash flow and capital effectively, right? So these are being offered as a 30-day free access, and that enables them to accelerate some of this work that they need to get done. Now, longer term, they will need to be adapting to the new normal in terms of things like inventory management differently, store strategy. I think, logistics, as Mr. Tripathi said, I think are all going to become very important. And within that context, again, cloud will be pervasive, I think, as everyone has said. But within that, how you start to use data analytics and artificial intelligence and use those for better decision making, better connections with customers and others, that I think will need to continue to happen. So as technology partners, our role clearly becomes to be helping to guide these companies in leveraging the most out of their digital transformation and doing it in a phased, gradual, thoughtful manner that is continuing to move the needle for their business.
Thank you, Mr. Patel, in fact, for also sharing how digital transformation is guiding, or for that matter, helping small and medium business. That also reminds me that, when we come across the quote of Charles Darwin saying survival of the fittest, now it's more about survival of the fastest. I think we can probably, sort of rephrase that in the times that we are today. We're almost at the end of the panel discussion, but before we go on to the lightning talk with our speakers, any final words or, in terms of the best practices for the SMBs out there? So first up, we'll start with you, Mr. Patel. We'll move on to Mr. Mittal and then Mr. Tripathi. So if you'd like to share some final words.
Again, I will use three words. I think cloud for operational agility. I will use, really thinking about speed, in a way that moves the needle for your business. And the third area is doing that, across new business models and the creation of new ecosystems that I think will power growth in this segment and enable us to do a lot more faster.
Wonderful, wonderful there. So we'll move on to Mr. Mittal. Sir, how about some best practices for the SMBs out there?
Yeah, so just carrying on from what Sandeep said. I think one of the areas where a new best practice will need to emerge is the choice of partners. I think from a technology perspective, most of the companies would realize that there is a lot of technology that's available to them. What will be important is to choose partners who help them execute, at a speed, help them, launch their digital journey and take them through the process. That, to me, I would say would be a big differentiator between someone who does it successfully versus somebody who may struggle. That's one area that I would like to add.
Choosing the right partner. All right. So while the focus is going there, let's move on to Mr. Tripathi. Sir, how about your final words on, anything on the best practices for the SMBs?
There are two things which I wanted to say earlier. There's one very important focus of NASSCOM, which has been before COVID also, which has now become very imperative, and I'm sure IBM also recognizes that as a value, which is called Industry 4.0 practices for intelligent manufacturing. And that's going to become an extremely valuable input for even very small SME manufacturing companies in coming times. And the new area where there's going to be a tremendous requirement of digital technologies working in a completely different manner, which have not been thought of, and IBM has tremendous strength there previously, is the collaboration, the office and home collaboration. How do we actually replicate an office working environment in our homes? Because that's going to become a reality. So those are two very important changes which I wanted to bring about in addition. And lastly, and I also want to say a line for NASSCOM that I'm a member council member as a industry person, right? I don't work with NASSCOM. So what I really found extremely valuable, and this I am advocating for every small IT company to become a member of NASSCOM, is because we have seen NASSCOM rising to this challenge in a significant manner and getting the industry ready. In 15 days time, 90% of the industry was working from home, and tremendous contribution was from NASSCOM with regards to getting approvals, working with the government, getting all the district administration sorted out and getting permissions for people and so on and so forth, and issuing continuous guidelines. Organizations, people such as us have been speaking continuously to our communities, companies across the country on video conferencing at all points of time. Now, similar kind of a preparation which is required for back to office kind of a regime. And these are kind of guidelines, these are kind of having to make people get ready, and as to how they should see this happening. This entire preparation has been very, very driven extremely well by NASSCOM, and I have myself held a lot of webinars in this space. And from my last words perspective on this platform, I would say that IT industry has always been at the forefront of all the uh, major transformations whenever the industry has gone down. Now you see last 20 years or 30 years of history, and whether it is 9/11 or 2008 subprime crisis, or any other crisis you think of, the entire rebuild of the business has happened because of the IT intervention. It is after a major innovation and push from IT industry that has created rebuilding of the entire economy in terms of saving cost, in terms of having to create innovation, having to create new skills, and so on and so forth. So I see there is a tremendous opportunity going forward as soon as we have lockdowns opening and so on and so forth, or even while they are not opening. And I am extremely confident that cloud, cyber security, and collaboration, and of course all those applications where you make people working from different locations and customers working from different locations come on a common platform, whether it is in they are industry agnostic, are going to be extremely valuable. And we see this as an opportunity for SMEs to transform into transform themselves into the digital era. And we also see this as a tremendous opportunity for IT SME companies to probably jump up and take a leap with larger partners like IBM, and provide reliable solutions to the MSME industry as a whole, and not only in India but all everywhere in the global environment. Thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you so much. In fact, a very engaging panel and lots of insights for us to take away. I mean, to think of it, I never really imagined that technology would be one factor that will get us to be a part of an engaging panel. At the same time, keep those insights coming in. When was the last time we probably imagined that we'll all connect like this here together in this way? So thank you so much again for joining us. Right from the kind of insights that you've shared to the kind of perspectives that we'll all be taking away. I myself enjoyed the panel. I had some fabulous takeaways from the session. So once again, thank you very much, Mr. Tripathi. Thank you very much, Mr. Patel. And thank you very much, Mr. Mittal, for sharing some interesting and actionable insights for our audience. Thank you once again. And with that, let's get into our first lightning talk today with Shiva Prasad Vittal, who's the director of digital business platforms with Happiest Minds Technologies. Now, the topic of his presentation is modernize your content to transform customer experience and create new revenue streams. Now, Shiva will in fact make us understand how they created DCM SaaS platform to drive digital customer experience and generate exponential revenue streams for their clients. Let's now move on to the presentation. So with that, Shiva, over to you.
Thank you. My name is Shiva and I'm from Happiest Minds. I take care of our business called DCM. It's called Digital Content Monetization. So I'm here to introduce you to that solution that we talked about, which actually helps monetize your content, at the same time bring new revenue streams to your business. So why don't I start with introducing our company, which is Happiest Minds. We're basically a next generation organization, and we are looking at mostly digital transformation, infrastructure security. For the last almost 9+ years, we started in 2011, and we are funded by our chairman is Mr. Ashok Soota, and we are funded by both JP Morgan and Ashok himself. We are present across around 107. We have around 16 cities in the world and around 170 customers worldwide. Okay, so in nutshell, as I was just completing about our offerings, this is mostly what Happiest Minds is doing. We are working towards building digital experience worldwide. We bring a lot of new digital insights, and we are continuously upgrading over the last 9 years, keeping pace with technology and trying sometime, being ahead. That's required for our clients and ourselves, and building a lot of digital applications. And we all run our maintenance, of course, apps being digital, maintenance has to turn digital as well. And we have powered a lot of platforms, including a lot of intellectual property that Happiest Minds has been actually building over years. And today is one such solution that we'll walk through, which is again an intellectual property of Happiest Minds. We are in several domains, including but not limited to manufacturing, retail, smart transport, and also finance. We all talked about, I'm sure we all know that this entire theme that we are in here is about business resiliency, and new ways of working. We all know how this year has been. It's almost like 3+ months or 4+ months worldwide that we are having a great challenge for businesses to run. But you know what? Every challenge we all know brings an opportunity. So having said that, I'd like to just take a few minutes and just set the context of where we stand. If you look at modern ways of doing business. So for some of the challenges that we probably, we're all seeing is how our, if you look at the center of our business normally, is what we are either selling. It can be a service, it can be a product, it can be anything else. But all that surrounds around data, and data becomes content, right, for different user groups, and it becomes relevant. So having said that, it's very important and pivotal that we actually take care of this, which forms the center of our business. So if you look at where we stand today, how we operate, we mostly see our data and our content scattered all across all the time. And we see our channels of how customers are experiencing our products and services. They're not really very powerful at all times, and they need to continuously keep pace with the changing demands of the world, like how we're having digital explosion in the last 10 years. Who could ever think that we could really, have such powerful video conferences, and things that we're doing today, maybe even 20 years ago or 10 years ago. So, and also I think, with the digital world changing, it's important that we allow a lot of self-service. If you see a lot of people today, or even businesses, they'd like to do things themselves. They really don't want to actually call someone for any service. Self-service, takes a lot of, is taking a lot of importance. But having said that, these are really not there in place today. If you look at it, whether it is small businesses or medium or startups, they're still trying to catch momentum with how digital world is super fast, pacing up. So if I say these are the challenges, obviously, the opposite are really the opportunities. How can we turn our scattered, probably not so valued data and content to become the center of our business and to drive revenues? And that's what we're going to talk about today. And how can we make all our channel experience to our customers, partners, or employees or users become very seamless, whether it is multi-channel or omni-channel. And of course, we all know everything runs real time today. So our insights and our analytics, how they can really bring great decision making to our, senior executives. They don't have to really wait for reports to come up. Everything, should be at fingertips, right? Though that's the opportunity we're talking about. And of course, as I was just saying, the world is moving towards a lot of self-service, and more importantly, the assistance on AI and machine learning capabilities that the technology has brought in over the last 10 years. So why do we do all this, right? Why are we even talking about all these things? We are talking about all these things because change is something that will not stop, and change is continuous. If change is continuous, we also have to keep stepping up and making our businesses better, and still create greater experience. So having said that, the net outcome we're talking about of this exercise or of this session is how can you actually enter the digital future. So now with this, let me move on for the next slide and just walk you through where we are. So for all these problems, Happiest Minds actually over the last 5+ years, we have been actually working with several clients across the world to really help them realize the power of their content. Because content is the center. If I'm looking at, for example, IBM, I'm looking at what IBM is giving me. It's IBM center is what I'm looking for. So every organization, small, mid, or large organizations, right? They all are centered through what they are communicating, and communication is all content, whether it is any physical business product or physical product or virtual product or physical services or virtual services. So so this solution we're talking about is called digital content monetization. We have helped clients across the world to realize this and actually go back, and then revamp their whole business offering. So let me give you a little bit of example here on this slide. If you see here, we are talking about how we can create mindful digital customer experience. Customer experience is not just something that we can plug and play. Customer experience is something that we continuously evolve. And with our solutioning, we do that all the time. We enable multi-channel and omni-channel delivery. We have new product offerings that we can launch through our platform. So let's assume I'm an organization, I have content which is traditional in nature. I'm running my business for the last 20 years, 5 years, 10 years, whichever it is. But I'm using my traditional content. So what we do as a part of the solutioning, we actually take your traditional content. We don't actually go and try to disrupt everything that is inside your business. We take what you have and then we actually make it digital. And by making it digital, it opens a Pandora box of how repertoire of offerings that we can actually go to the market with. So that's what we do. That's what is our expertise also. We take the content as it is, what you have today, and help you go digital step by step, and also have faster go to market. Not just taking what you have, but still have a faster go to market. And at the same time, we allow our clients to actually focus on their business growth. You see, every company will become experts only when they're doing more of what they're doing well. We all know this. So thereby, this solution that we're talking about and this offering, we actually help you focus, let you focus on your business, and we take the technology disruptions for you as we move on. So along with that, the solution that we're talking about is fully digital, 360-degree, and it is 24/7 is how you can operate. So this is one small chart. I just want a small diagram I want to walk you through. So a scenario we're really talking about is you could probably give us content, no matter what the type of the content, how traditional it is. We'll actually work with you and make your content digital. The moment we make your content fully digital, then it is available, ready for a fantastic modernized experience, right from your customers, partners, or users. So we perform that, and then we have digital content delivery that has to go to any of your user groups. Then we have a lot of interactive features that allow people to interact with your product or services. We have, of course, the modernized AI and machine learning. If you look at it today, like most of the businesses, everybody is going towards AI ML. Why? Because it powers a lot of self-service. And that's what people would like to have lesser turnaround times. Now, mostly, right? To do their transactions or purchases, whatever you want to call. And then we also are we have our expertise in system integrations. So I know we are in 2020 and we don't have to tell this. Every company will have so many softwares. Think about it. So many solutions. It's hard to get all of them together. And we also expertise in that. We help you to bring all of them together and of course get that integrated to our solution seamlessly. And goes without saying, no business is complete in itself if it does not have a process, a powerfully managed business process and workflow automation. Days are gone where everything is to be manual, everything was manually tracked. Now it's not like that. Everything is digitally tracked. So at the end, the solution we're talking about actually powers the four major things. One, it transforms your customer experience and brings tremendous customer value. See, at the end, why do you think anybody will even do business with us, right? They will do business with us if we can give that value, give customer value that can continuously grow, comprehend, and expand, in itself. And that's where we actually excel in driving your customer experience transformation. With our solution, we have a faster go-to-market. We don't really go everything, we don't build from scratch. We have all the components, all the capabilities, all the fundamentals, using which we actually go ahead and help you to launch your products and services to market faster, much faster. We don't talk about 6 months or 8 months or 12 months. We talk about, probably 12 weeks or 20 weeks, we talk on those lines, since most of our capabilities are pretty much ready. And of course, what does this give? The moment it is digital, the beauty. The beauty is actually it makes it fully non-linear, fully exponential. We get exponential business. When the moment you have a digital offering, you can be rest assured that it has the power to actually create exponential business and new revenue streams. Of course, consumption-based pricing. See, days were there, and in the past, where if I have to have a power connection at home, I had to really set up a power station. So I mean, if I have to start a company, I had to really have my own data center, I have my own everything. But that's not how days are now. Now you can just, get any service on the cloud. Anything you do, you can do pay as you go. So, for power connections, we don't go and set up a power station now, right? We just go and take a power connection from the local authorities. Similarly, our solution is presented and placed in such a way that you pay only for what you use, and that's consumption-based pricing. Let me go to the next slide. Here I'm just talking about, pretty much I spoke in the previous slide, is some of the key features that actually power our platform or power our solution. We have good, we take your content the way it is, and we have good toolkits and processes to convert your content from non-digital to digital. And even if it is digital, we make it even superiorly digital required for us to drive your offering. We have digital user interfaces pretty much pre-baked, ready-made, and of course it can be customized well for you, for your enterprise and for your brands. And of course I talked about knowledge bot, and we also have self-service. Once we give the platform or the solution to you, it's great for you to run by yourself as much as possible, right, with minimum intervention and minimum disruption. So we have a lot of self-service capabilities and insights and analytics. So it's very important that we all have real-time data, real-time information that you actually deal with, so that we are powered by that. And goes without saying, I just spoke about that businesses need more automation, greater intelligent processes that actually help you run frictionless in your business. Yeah. The next I just want to talk about is, all right, I spoke, so many things, right? We spoke about revenues, we spoke about customer experience. I just want to take a moment and tell you how our DCM solution has benefited, our clients, and how it can benefit your business. First of all, we were able to actually launch new digital offerings that were never thought of. You know why? Because until our content is traditional and conventional, we cannot talk about digital business. And we should make our content first digital, from non-digital to digital. That's when you can really talk about business offerings. And guess what? That opens up a whole new repertoire or array of business offerings. So that's the first thing we did, which our clients like. I'm sure your businesses will also love to have new offerings that were never thought of, that were never possible earlier. And of course, with this brings non-linear revenue or exponential revenue, because you don't really spend a lot while making a digital offering. But then once the offering is available, it's just out there for customers to go and grab worldwide. This has completely transformed customer experience, not just for customers, our customers, but their customers, their users, and their partners. And then what? It creates a fantastic impact. It has created an enormous business impact, which really has made the customers stay on, and actually refer and grow the business as well, because of the experience they get at the end of the day. Of course, why we really here? Because future is all digital. It's going to be everything digital. It's already, made its way quite a lot, right? Made its path right into us. If you look at last 10, 15 years, how much of digital explosion we had. So having said that, we actually power your go-to-market, and we continuously keep launching new features and new capabilities that can power your business. And with this, we have seen significant growth in our clients, revenue. We've seen year-on-year growth of at least 25%, and we kept launching new features, more than 10% year-on-year. Renewal customers. So customers love to stay on the moment you are actually giving them more. If at all, if Happiest Minds is able to, bring such a solution, and we are able to, not only our customers have experienced a greater exponential revenue, Happiest Minds themselves have been able to do it. If you ask how and why, that's because we are also using the PaaS offerings, the platform as a service offerings from IBM, and we do everything on cloud. Most of our work, almost everything, runs on cloud. We do our development on cloud. We do everything on cloud. So the first thing I want to really thank IBM is they have, when we really started our business of DCM, but it really went very well. It's been fantastic. It's been almost 5+ years with IBM. What IBM has been able to do for us is primarily they have given us high availability, great performance, auto scalability, reliability, security, compliance, and many other non-functional requirements. Sometimes even we didn't ask. And that really supported not only our business, but also our customer business. So in our solution today, we run a lot of mission critical businesses for our clients. So those mission critical businesses have to run 24 by 7, and IBM has powered that. So we are thankful for IBM for that. It has been great, working with them over the last 5 years. And not only PaaS, we also have used some of the IaaS services, the infrastructure as service, which has been quite reliable, quite fantastic as well. One of the important reasons why I even chose IBM when we started, and we continue to stay on with them, is because their cloud platform is so developer friendly. So it's very developer friendly, and it allows us to run our in fact our platform is basic our solution is basically running on microservice architecture, and IBM has been supporting a lot of advanced capabilities that support microservices, and we have been using their cloud foundry for like from day one. We still use them, and now of late they have actually even launched Kubernetes. They are also offering Watson, their IBM's AI capability as a service as well. So predominantly it has been very developer friendly. We're able to build applications quite rapidly. Because we can build apps rapidly, we can deliver to our customers, their products and services to the market, rapidly as well. Okay. So that's a nutshell about IBM. We're thankful for them. It's been a great service. And you know what? We also pay on consumption. So isn't that beautiful? So the model that we are actually talking about, DCM, as a solution to our clients and prospects, is basically we pay on consumption. Sorry, yeah, you pay to us on consumption, and we also pay to IBM on consumption. So that's the beauty of it. And of course, let me walk you through the cloud architecture of what we have for IBM, and it's continuously evolving because one of the good things about IBM is they have kept launching new capabilities, new features that is required, for businesses to keep the pace, and not only keep the pace, but also, have a greater experience. So this architecture is the latest architecture, which has evolved over the last 3-4 years as well. It's fully microservices driven, and we handle both offline, online content. We have very powerful integration layers that operate, and we have both our backend and front end applications working seamlessly. And front end applications actually take more importance because at the end, your users are actually interfacing with your front end applications. So it has been. This is a little bit of a snapshot of how our cloud architecture looks like. Um, we use pretty much a lot of open source technologies, which also helps us to keep our overall costs in checks, which means we are able to give our clients a great price as well. All right, with that I come to the end of our session. So I hope it has been quite useful for you, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. But by the way, before I pass on, I just want to ask a question to all of us, right? We know we're all in the digital world. Future is going to be all digital. So if you're looking for venturing into digital business, and if you're looking to power your existing products and services, and if you want to have a faster go-to-market with new products and new services, if you want to bring AI and ML assistance or features, bots into your systems, or if you want to modernize experience to your users, customers, partners, etc., in this changing, we can actually help you. So and we're more than happy. We would love to hear from you if you're interested to actually keep the momentum, stay up the competition, and give a great experience to your own customers, to your own partners. We're happy to partner with you. Thank you very much. Have a great time. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Shiva, for taking us through how Happiest Minds is helping clients digitize and modernize content. A quick reminder as well to our members of the audience, our Q&A panel is open for any questions that you have to share with our speakers. So please drop in those questions in the box in the Q&A panel as well. Now, let's move on to the next bit that we're talking about. Ever wondered what it takes to run real-time video analytics using AI on the edge? Well, our next lightning talk is with Pushkar Patwardhan, who's a co-founder of Lightmetrics Technologies Private Limited And he will, in fact, take us through how they are able to take AI-enabled video telematics by leveraging cloud capabilities. Pushkar, over to you.
Hi, I'm Pushkar Patwardhan. I'm co-founder at Lightmetrics Technologies Private Limited, Bangalore. I'm going to talk about what does it take to run a real-time video analytics using AI on the edge. Lightmetrics helps enterprises launch video telematics enabled solutions. Our main customers are telematics service providers. These are companies who sell asset tracking softwares and hardware to fleets, commercial trucks. We also sell this technology to automotive OEMs, tier ones, and insurers. Our main market is in North America, Canada. We have trials going on in EU, Australia, and South Africa. I will talk about video telematics, how it has evolved and that we offer. And I will talk about how we leverage IBM Cloud's powerful tools to enable the entire product. About Lightmetrics, we were incorporated in Feb 2015, headquartered in Bangalore and San. We are a 22-member team. Founders have several years of experience creating technology-intensive products requiring computer vision, deep learning, and cloud computing. Now coming to video telematics. Conventional telematics in vehicle is based on GPS technology. GPS technology essentially has a GPS receiver inside a vehicle, and as it moves, you get the position and you know the time. So this enables us to compute velocities, acceleration, and it gives a rich data about what is happening when the vehicle is moving. Where is it stopped? Where did it accelerate? Now, all these kind of things. What is missing is the context. So if a vehicle has braked hard or it has changed lanes, there is no way to know whether it was due to a true incident or was it because of driving behavior. So this is where the video comes in. And if there is a camera which is recording stuff, then you know that it is genuine or no. At the same time, one cannot really record the entire video and it needs to be contextual. So the main value that by video is used is exonerations, then ascertaining the liabilities. And if one gets a lot of videos, then one can use that to improve behavior of a driver. All this can lead to reduced accidents and eventually increasing the ARPU for TSPs as well as the fleets. Another main thing is differentiation. Today, most of the in-vehicle telematics are still using GPS, and video, especially AI-enabled video, gives a huge differentiation. And why now? Large number of huge TSPs, big TSPs in United States and Canada, they are moving to video-based telematic solutions. The costs of cameras are going down. We are also seeing that the cost of data is decreasing, and most important today, artificial intelligence algorithms are possible on edge. These are affordable and very much within the reach of most of the customers. So what is the need of our today? So essentially a AI-enabled dash camera, which can do all the conventional vehicle telematics plus much more. And it should be affordable to the owners, operators, as well as small and medium fleets. Mind you, all these people have different kind of needs. Their affordability can vary, but they require a video telematic solution because it adds a significant value. So one solution does not fit all, and that is where Lightmetrics is ideal. Finally, these people have made a lot of investments already in their vehicles. Most of the commercial trucks have tablets, and it makes sense to make sure this technology works with them. So what do we offer? Lightmetrics offers an SDK called RideView. RideView is an library. We have iOS, Android, and Linux versions of this. It installs or integrates along with customers' application in a tablet, mobile device, or even any custom hardware. It talks to the camera, which is mounted on the dashboard, and it looks at the road. As the driver drives, it can automatically detect various visual events, generates rich metadata, it records clips, and all this is pushed onto cloud. And then Lightmetrics backend makes this available through REST APIs. So APIs can be integrated in enterprise applications and custom dashboards can be built. So one of the key components of the RideView suite is the camera. So today we have three kinds of cameras. The first one is RideCam, which is currently selling in North America. This camera can just record and send the data to the mobile device of the trucks. It does not have compute capability. The compute happens on the device which is owned by the fleet or the driver. The second version, which is little advanced, can do the computations on the camera itself, and then it sends the data through LTE connection or the available Connect tablet. Finally, we also have RideView, which works on proprietary hardware. There are fleets who have their own cameras which are supporting Android as well as Linux, and this library works very well with custom hardware as well. How it works? So you will see here in a green circle, there is a smartphone shown. This smartphone is representative of the custom hardware that's installed in a truck. It's pointing to the road, and as the vehicle is driven, it automatically finds out using computer vision, AI, machine learning, and various sophisticated deep neural network algorithms, various vehicles, lanes. It finds out what are the posted speed limits, if there are stop signs, pedestrians, and lots of visual stuff it does. On each of these detections, a short video clip is recorded, and this is pushed onto the cloud. On my left bottom, we can see different kind of events that are recorded. It could be tailgating, you're going very close to a vehicle, or there is a lane drift, a vehicle is moving into another lane. The inner facing camera can find out if the driver is looking somewhere else while he's moving into a different lane. Is he distracted? Is he talking over phone? All these kind of events. Blind spot monitoring, is there somebody coming from behind and just not within the visible spot? All these kind of events are generated. A lot of metadata is produced, and this is pushed onto the cloud. So we launched this technology in 2016-17, and today we have enabled some of the major North American fleet operators, TSPs, to have this technology in their product. So there are TSPs who have enabled video coaching features in their offering, with which they can do effective driver monitoring and coach the drivers. From few hundreds, about little more than a year back, we are now about 10,000, more than 10,000 installations and growing at a healthy pace. We do about 25 million miles per month. Thousands of daily trips are generated. There's a lot of contextual data and text data. This is, we believe, is a USP because the current cameras, they record all the video that's in front of them. While with Lightmetrics product, you can get something that is contextual. When a driver falls, he breaks a posted speed limit video. So you don't really need to record and send everything that's being recorded. So where are we right now? So this essentially this is showing all the places where a vehicle is being driven with Lightmetrics SDK and detections have happened. This particular illustration is showing where speed limits have been detected on various major roads on US. And similarly, we have for stop signs and various various kinds of visual objects which are detected. So currently, this is growing at a very healthy pace, and this particular illustration is little over. And the most recent one, we have covered even more than this. And similar pattern we see also in Canada. So Lightmetric's backend services consist of dashboards, microservices, monitoring, and data services. We service on an average about 500K requests. Sometimes it can go to 750, very rarely to 1 million. Mind you, this is not like a B2C e-commerce, and this is the data is coming from fleets. So this kind of traffic is still, is a fairly a large traffic, and our servers need to handle this very reliably. Dashboards that we provide to our customers don't just show trips, but they show aggregation in real time. What it means is it needs to show what a specific driver, how many kilometers it covered over a specific duration, and with a lot of filters. So doing that in real time is a challenge, but it's a requirement. And finally, we need reliable, scalable, available, robust, and easy to operate, database and compute services. And these are our key expectations from cloud service providers. And I'm happy to say that, over the last 5 years, we have had great experience hosting our entire stack, almost entire stack on IBM Cloud. So this is how our backend infrastructure looks like. There are clients like dashboards, intermediate servers, and the SDKs running on mobile device, which are either reading or writing data into our backend. So this happens through the main gateway, which is kind of the main entry point and exit point for all the traffic. This internally goes and talks to the microservices layers. There are a lot of external services like authentication, auto-scaling, messaging, which are required to run the backend smoothly. And finally, this goes and stores the data into a database. So we use Cloudant, very powerful NoSQL database offering from IBM Cloud, which stores all the metadata. So when a trip happens, we store at what time, who, and data required to do various kinds of aggregations. So we have been associated with IBM from 2015, and since then we've slowly built this system, and today there are a lot of critical components within Lightmetric's stack which runs on IBM Cloud. So one of the most important and I would say backbone of the whole backend is Cloudant. So Cloudant is scalable. It has very powerful queries, inbuilt MapReduce, advanced replication features. These are something that we use for creating real-time aggregates, especially the MapReduce query. You don't need a separate infrastructure. Cloudant, you can write MapReduce routines directly into the database and get fantastic result, and it automatically scales. You don't need to worry about various other things. So this is, I would say, more than a backbone, not just backbone, because it stores all the data, and almost 90% APIs are dependent on the queries which are running on Cloudant. Then we have a lot of server-side functionality which are running on node servers. We have static websites. These host our customer-facing dashboards. All these run on Cloud Foundry application, or more popularly PaaS. Easy to deploy, very reliable, and very cost-effective as well. I talked about API gateway and the Nginx server. So this runs on IBM's classic infrastructure, as a virtual server, and this is the main gateway entry-exit point for all the requests that are received by the backend. And finally, there are alerts, monitoring, scaling, logging, message queues. Some of these are used as and when needed, and they are essentially needed at times to not for, I would say, primary functionality, but they are required for certain secondary reasons. So we also use some of them, especially messaging queues logging alerts. Automatically, you can get alerts on your Slack channels or phones. So that's a very useful thing to have when you want to make sure all the backend works fine. So yeah, so this is pretty much how we have enabled our wide video telematics offering over like IBM Cloud's services. We are happy about it, and we look forward to continuing this association. With this, I would like to thank you for joining this session. I can be reached info@lightmetrics.co, and you can find more details about Lightmetrics at www.lightmetrics.co. Thank you again.
Well, after that insightful session, let's now move on to our next speaker. We have with us Ashutosh Pal, who's the CEO of Solicon, and he will be talking about how they are bringing scalable cloud services to improve client productivity. So with that, over to you, Ashutosh.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ashutosh Pal, CEO at Solicon Group. Currently, when the whole world is going through these uncertain times, businesses across the world are looking towards IT as an enabler which can help business to operate during this time of crisis. Organizations need to find out new and innovative ways how to stay productive. You might not be working under a single roof, or you have to maintain social distancing, and preferably work from home for those who can. During this session, we will discuss about some of the solutions which can make your workforce productive from anywhere. At Solicon, we have 4 key pillars of our business: cloud, cybersecurity, modern application development, and AI-driven automation. So the cloud has capabilities to help us stay productive from remote, reduce capital expenditure, scale as and when required, and provide enterprise infrastructure at fraction of a cost of on-premise solutions. Then we need cybersecurity solutions to safeguard our data that is lying with a distributed workforce, and cloud-based automation solutions to ease the pressure and clear backlogs. We need to use modern applications which can run from anywhere at scale and which are not bound to a particular infrastructure. A little introduction on our cloud services across all of our group companies. Solicon primarily offers services around infrastructure on cloud. We can help you design, implement, manage your classic applications on the IBM Cloud. We help our customers to do a lift and shift migration from on-premises data center to the cloud. Now, what do we mean by lift and shift? So you have some applications which are running in your on-premise data center, some line of business applications like ERP or a CRM or any custom-built application. Now, we do not need to make any changes to the code of that application. We can take that application as is, copy everything which is there on-premise and take it to the cloud. So every aspect of the service which is available on-premise, we can help deliver on the cloud. We can provide you managed infrastructure services to help you achieve your uptime and performance goals. The place where cloud really takes the cake is the cybersecurity products and solution. Since security is your prime concern in the cloud, this is where it shines the brightest. You can get enterprise-grade security solutions on pay-per-use model. Obviously, we cannot expect you to write off all your on-premise IT investments. We are not suggesting that you should shut down your on-premise data center, completely lock it, and throw the key in the Bay of Bengal. This is where a hybrid cloud can help. It means cloud can become an extension to your on-premise investments, to your on-premise data center, to the applications or to the servers that you have on-premise, can work together with the cloud. Typical scenario for the same would be disaster recovery solutions, data center expansion, putting workloads which needs radical scaling on the cloud, or keep the workloads which are required by compliance on-premise and move the rest to the cloud. Now, Now, from end user's perspective, we can deliver a cloud-based virtual desktop for your workforce. End users can access it from anywhere using not so powerful devices like tablets or any personal laptop or a desktop. You can use any platform today and you can still access an enterprise grade desktop delivered from cloud. It helps in remote productivity with controlled access to corporate IT services like ERP or any other internal application, which essentially means that though your desktops are working from the cloud, those desktops are still able to access all the data and applications which are available in your on-premise data center currently. So this is the beauty of hybrid cloud. Then there are unified endpoint management solutions, which can help you to maintain remote devices, assets, and keep data and information secure. It can be a tremendous boost to your remote workforce productivity as devices are being managed proactively, so there are considerably less calls to your help desk. You would notice that 70 to 80% of the time of your IT staff goes in resolving the endpoint or user device issues. We can also use IT service management solutions to deliver ITIL compliant ticketing and help desk. Then there is platform as a service. So let us understand it like this. A typical classical application requires us to manage the whole platform, that is networking, storage, servers, and virtualization. When all four of these are clubbed together, they form infrastructure as a service. While cloud providers can offer you infrastructure as a service, they can also manage the operating systems for you. Web servers, your application servers, database servers, and whole range of the middleware, which means the only job left to you is to manage your application code and data. At Solicon, we can help you make your legacy application ready for the cloud platform. We can help you adopt modern infrastructure components like containerization and help you set up DevOps practice for hybrid infrastructure management. You can adopt cloud-delivered modern technology components like artificial intelligence, big data, analytics, and IoT without having to own much of the infrastructure. With our group company, X Automation Labs, we have a product portfolio catering to cybersecurity and automation delivered from the cloud. We are in the process of releasing following products which can help in remote employee cybersecurity management. So the first one is productivity monitoring solution, or a remote employee productivity monitoring solution. With these solutions, you can find out how much time a user spends on corporate applications and how much time he or she spends on a personal application. So for example, a social media, video, or games, and you can find out total productive hours per day. You can also get a detailed drill down report of each of the user's activity. It gives your team leaders and supervisors capability for managing the workload better. Then we have endpoint device encryption. So there is data which is lying on those remote devices, and the data can be critical for your organization. So you can safeguard your corporate data on remote endpoint devices by encrypting it. Our endpoint encryption software can help you encrypt data on all endpoint platforms. Then we have Universal Access Gateway, which is a universal identity and access management platform. And with this, you can bring all your corporate, cloud, and custom application tied to a single ID of your users. Now, this can help you enforce advanced access security with multi-factor authentication, single sign-on, contextual access, log collection, and risk analytics. These solutions can help you secure your corporate data being accessed by your employees from anywhere in the world. Now, in the automation portfolio, we have software testing automation, which includes regression testing, functional testing, UI testing, and robotic process automation, which can help in digital automation solutions. This means our intelligent digital bots can do what a human worker would do on his or her laptop or a desktop. So now we are looking at a small success story from one of our manufacturing clients from Gurgaon. Now this client has gone through a demerger and they lost most of their IT infrastructure in that demerger. They had VMware private cloud deployment in their small on-premise data center, and their IT staff was mostly trained on VMware. Now here was the challenge. The client needed all the benefits of the cloud. They needed scalability, they needed rapid deployment, but they also wanted to retain VMware as the underlying platform to manage services. The client was evaluating multiple options and could not find the right solution. This is where strong hybrid cloud portfolio of IBM Cloud came to help. It can help in wide variety of use cases like data center consolidation. So multiple small data centers with less reliability can be consolidated and moved to IBM Cloud. Or there could be use cases for data center expansion or development and test workloads on the cloud. Disaster recovery and backup are preferred option anyways for organizations these days. Whether you have stronger security and compliance requirements or infrastructure modernization needs, IBM Cloud can help you achieve your goals. So that is why we recommend IBM Cloud to our customers. IBM Cloud is the most robust and secure cloud platform with over 60 data centers across the world. It offers wide range of options for open source ecosystem. There's no other platform which offers so many options for open source as IBM Cloud does. IBM has a comprehensive hybrid cloud options, which means you do not have to write off your on-premise assets. You can still use your on-premise IT infrastructure and combine that with the IBM Cloud and use them together. IBM has strongest offerings in all the latest and emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, big data, analytics, quantum computing, etc. And IBM offers a pricing model which is suited more towards corporate needs, which means you can make long-term planning even with the cloud and save cost. So that's all we have today. Thank you for joining us here today. If you have any queries, please use my coordinates to reach out to me. We will be very happy to answer your questions.
Thank you so much, Ashutosh, for that insightful session, for taking us through the journey that Solicon is going through and how it is helping the clients. Well, on that note, it looks like we've had a very, very insightful set of sessions, takeaways and perspectives as well. And with that, we come to the end of today's event. We're open for the Q&A and SMEs are on standby to answer your questions. So please do use this side of the Q&A panel to post your questions. Please do that. We've also posted several thought leadership papers, blogs, as well as demos in the asset resource panel. So please be sure that you also download the material. We also hope you've had some wonderful time listening to all of our speakers. And on that note, I'm Kavya R. Chavali. It's time for me to sign out as well. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, and have a good day.